So I've spent a lot of years like working with Leica cameras, maybe 15 at this point, and I've had various models. Started off with an M42. First problem I ran into was the shutter got burnt. After about having it for a couple of years, I didn't have a lens cap on or a lens hood on a Voigtlander lens that was wide open, and I was walking in the California sun, smelt something on the camera, and the shutter burnt. Realized later that it was a cloth shutter, and there was some care that had to be done to take care of the shutter issue. Second problem that I had was I had a digital digital M8. I was trying to do some lens or shutter drag with flash things at a thing, and my shutter snapped and broke, and I had to take it in for service. Third problem that I had was with an M7. M7 is a film camera, but it also has a meter. The batteries were draining very quickly or just not working. I took it in for service, and they said change the batteries. Okay, great. But not just change the batteries as in change a new battery, but I had to change the type of battery, because I found out that through this service bureau that the two batteries that are recommended by Leica weren't really working with the camera as much, because they were older technology, and you had to use the four that were similar, and that were actually, the two had those four inside of them. And anyway, there was another issue. A third issue I had is I bought an M11P used from or authorized dealer. And when I bought it, I took it out on the street the very first day. I still had my M10 and I had my N10P, and I thought this was a perfect matchup. And the shutter, the focusing mechanism, the rangefinder mechanism, snapped and went up inside the camera. I took the camera back. So I've had a few problems, and most of those problems seem to be technical issues. Is that a problem with quality control at Leica? No. But it is a problem of engineering. The Leica M itself is a body that is over 70, the body style, the design of it is over 70 years old. So there's only been a couple different iterations of it that were different, and they didn't go over very well with the market. The M5 was a different body. It was more robust. It had like different parts. It had a perfect meter. It had a lot of different things. But since it was a little bit bigger than the normal M, Leica people didn't like it. So what do? You get into a different way of shooting with these cameras. I always think of the Leica M in comparison to other camera systems, sort of like if you have a digital watch, like this Apple Watch, right? If you have a digital watch and you have an analog watch, or even a very nice sort of cryo-function watch, the cryo-function watch is worth more. It takes up a little bit more care, a little bit more identification. You have to know how to use it. You have to know what the functions are and things like that. Apple Watch just works, but the battery life is bad. It is a computer. It does need to be updated, and it has like a lot of other like just different variant problems, and you need to update it all the time. With a Leica M or a Leica system in general, you can update it to the current and the newest model, and you're going to get the most like value out of that camera by upgrading it to that in the digital realm. But if you're using a film M, you get one that works absolutely, and you can just keep on fixing it for life. It's sort of the obsolescence obsolete kind of idea, that that it is already obsolete in the fact that there is no new thing that you can do with it. And when Leica themselves have tried, like putting a aperture priority meter into the system, They had to eliminate manual functions, or when they put a meter into the system, they have to put the meter in a place that isn't optimal, that would be in the Japanese cameras, even the most current to the oldest, because those cameras were built differently. Leica is a 100-year-old company that is very slow to change its technology, even though it is a technologically advanced system. When they do, like Apple, let's go back to Apple, when they do, they only take the best of the best and they try to update it through, in the digital terms, firmware, et cetera, or they get out of a system if it doesn't work. That's what they did with the M7. No longer make an M7. Why? Because the tolerances that were needed to keep that system running were very different. And this is a problem that I've run into with a friend that bought an M7 and some others. My own M7 only had one little problem with it, and I got that taken care of. But you just have to work with these cameras differently and think of them differently.